Ecosystem Exchange is the podcast series by T6 Ecosystems that explore different themes shaping our world. Each season spotlights a new focus, bringing together experts for engaging discussions. Through this exchange of ideas, we promote a sense of intellectual exploration, interdisciplinary collaboration, and actionable insights. Welcome to Ecosystem Exchange, a podcast by T6 Ecosystems, where we explore the intersection of research, innovation, and real life. I'm Simona De Rosa, partner and researcher at T6 Ecosystems, and I will dive you into this conversation. In these highlights, we are joined by Sara Giorgi, researcher at T6 Ecosystems, talking about CircEUlar and T6's role in shaping the project. This builds on our previous conversation in the episode dedicated to the project. Sara has a master's in science from the London School of Economics in Environmental Planning, Policy and Regulation. She has worked in social research in sustainability and behavior change for the past 20 years, working for NGOs, consultancies, research institutes, and universities. She has carried out qualitative and quantitative research methodologies and evaluation in the United Kingdom, France, and Italy. Her specific fields of interest within sustainability development include waste and resources, food, clothing, and circular business practices. In her current role as a senior researcher at T6 Ecosystems, she contributes to the European-funded project in sustainability, specifically circular economy and natural-based solutions, working on stakeholder engagement, impact assessment, and policy dialogue. Welcome, Sara.
Hello, thank you for having me, Simona. I'm Sara Giorgi, and I'm a senior researcher at T6 Ecosystems. Following the previous episode, where we spoke with Nora Meyer about CircEUlar and the collaboration with the Klimabiennale in Vienna, today I'd like to shift focus to one of the core activities of the project for T6 Ecosystems, and one which I'm directly involved in: stakeholder engagement. As a reminder, CircEUlar focuses on the dynamics and levers for societal transformation. The project conducts empirical analysis on quantifying material stocks and flows, circular business models, and consumer willingness to adopt circular practices across three focus areas: mobility, buildings and household appliances, and digitalisation. The overarching aim is to develop circular economy-driven net zero emissions pathways for Europe. In CircEUlar, we have two parallel work streams which form the basis of our stakeholder engagement approach. On the one hand, we are conducting a continuous stakeholder mapping exercise through constantly updating our database. This ever-expanding, currently 800-strong database categorizes stakeholders by aspects like type, so industry, research, or civil society, location, focus area, interest in the project, and which engagement activities they would be best matched to name a few. On the other hand, we have a suite of various stakeholder engagement activities, such as interviews, in-person workshops, online webinars, informal expert exchanges, or dissemination events. In CircEUlar specifically, and at T6 more generally, we make certain that activities are tailor-made and bespoke, ensuring that engagements are fit for purpose for the research task to hand and the stakeholder in question. We pride ourselves in ensuring that engagement is not an extractive exercise, but rather a genuine two-way exchange, a true dialogue of giving and taking. This ensures that the participant is left enriched and not devoid, often meaning that the participant wants to remain engaged with the project and become part of its growing community of interest. We ensure that our community is kept up to date by a quarterly newsletter. Editions are tailored to the audience and kept light, improving readership and impact. The challenges are the same ones that most projects encounter when carrying out stakeholder engagement activities. Often, several projects are competing for the attention of the same key experts in the field. These stakeholders tend to be time poor in a world competing for their attention with a lot of noise and overwhelming amount of choice. Another challenge is translating the feedback provided from stakeholders in a way that can effectively inform and improve the research being carried out. In CircEUlar, this has been done, for example, through sense checking and validating the assumptions, parameters and feasibility of certain circular practices proposed in the development of the pathways. One key aspect here is to ensure that stakeholder engagement is not run as a box-ticking exercise, but is truly embedded in the research process from the beginning, with integrated action points and feedback loops which inform the subsequent research phases. Stakeholder engagement has to always go hand in hand with open-mindedness, willingness, and capacity to integrate the feedback provided into the prospective research tasks. In CircEUlar, the consortium research partners have bought into the importance of stakeholder engagement and have benefited from specific input from experts at different intervals, be it, for example, from fellow researchers working on similar modelling projects and therefore struggling with comparable challenges, or industry leaders offering technical insights on bioplastics. Timing is crucial. Stakeholder engagement cannot be considered an afterthought. Such activities need to be planned at regular intervals and at key points where the interaction makes the most sense. In CircEUlar, we have been flexible, adapting and expanding the stakeholder engagement portfolio of activities based on the needs of the consortium and emerging findings. The tailored engagement in CircEUlar means there's no one-size-fits-all solution, which results in the need for more detailed planning. However, the personalization makes the exchanges more meaningful, worthwhile, and impactful. The carefully crafted matchmaking exercises, for example, saw cherry-picked experts partnered with modelers to validate the preliminary pathway development. The main opportunity that stakeholder engagement implemented in this way brings is ensuring research has impact. In research projects, the value of the outcomes depends greatly on the relevance and quality of technical input integrated during the research process. This is precisely why we have such a tailored approach to stakeholder engagement. Moving into the last year of the project, we further flesh out what the pathways will look like and communicate these visions and scenarios more broadly. Generally, the power of images and art is always a good interest catcher. The saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words rings very true, even in research and stakeholder engagement. For example, we are currently exploring the possibility of using visual storytelling techniques to introduce and test the narratives being developed as part of another series of stakeholder engagement activities later this year. This said, the role of art in CircEUlar is more a way of explaining science to a non-specialist audience, to all the Jane Does and Joe Blogs of the world, a translation exercise, if you will. As this podcast series is dedicated to the intersection of science and art, I warmly invite you to also explore the activity we have carried out under the framework of the Clima Biennale, and in particular, the interviews we, as T6, have curated, a compelling showcase of conversations between 4 groups of CircEUlar researchers and artists. These dialogues spark cross-disciplinary insight, communicate scientific knowledge in more relatable ways, and show how collaboration between art and science can lead to innovative ways of engaging with critical climate challenges. Indeed, the partnership with the Clima Biennale has been a unique opportunity to bridge science and art, offering a new way to highlight CircEUlar's research findings through the interpretative lens of contemporary artists. These creative dialogues bring fresh energy to scientific communication, making complex ideas around climate change and the circular economy more accessible and emotionally resonant. In CircEUlar, given the complexity of some of the modelling work which is being conducted, the power of art can be seen through a function of translation and one of inclusivity by broadening its appeal. The art installations and dialogues speak both to the masses and to individuals. Circular economy as a concept is anchored in a systemic and holistic outlook, just as art is grounded to speak to a wider audience. Both are inclusive. The objective of the collaboration is to collectively find new approaches for communicating climate and scientific knowledge. This was definitely achieved. Expanding the appeal of the circular economy enables more people to be part of the conversation and extends the reach of these conversations. You can find the link to the video series Art Meets Science, Bridging Worlds for Circular Pathways in the description below. And do not miss the next episode. We will jump right into another project and continue to explore the many facets of how art can be a powerful ally in shaping a more sustainable future.
Thanks for listening to this highlight of our ecosystem exchange. See you in the next episode.